Hello, this is KT0 bringing you another RE3 commentary on Infinite Isle. This is the Leather War August finals, and it's between our Empire player, of course that will be Kiwi, and our Allies player, Maniek. A very powerful player indeed, and the last replay that I casted was absolute disgrace, so I decided not to put it up to the game replay.org forum, and instead I decided to cast the Leather War August, the finals. Of course I'll be casting all three games. I've got a 3-game replay pack. I don't know whether it's best of 5 or best of 3, and hopefully it's a best of 3, or otherwise the results will be reviewed right away, which is not exactly a very good thing. But enough of that talk, let's get back to the game. We see our Empire player has opened with 3 barracks as opposed to his opponents. 1 barrack approach and producing a lot of infantry, perhaps thinking about rushing it before the dojos can finish and deploy and start the production of infantry and take control of that order X to give himself a nice little early advantage in economy. Is our allies player Maniek, and we see the Empire player Kiwi has managed to move his MCV to the right flank of his main base, inexplicably facing his second refinery here. Very interesting choice. And we see that perhaps the 3 barracks was just a little bit of feints there, leading his opponents to think that he's going to put up some early pressure, but instead he's falling back to 2 refineries, a very standard economical opening for any Empire player in general. But for Allies player, he still hasn't built his second refinery yet, so I expect a large number of infantry production from him, and indeed he has produced a seaport, but he is thinking about a sea rush. Oh no, would it be an engineer rush? And indeed the engineer is now inside of the ACV. What is his target? I don't know, we shall see. And perhaps he's just going to go around the back and try to occupy this order here, completely negating the fact that there are infantry guarding it, because, well, if you have an ACV, the Imperial Warriors basically don't stand a chance against the heavily armored in the front of the vehicle. And we see the Empire player still has 1 dojo undeployed and is moving to the right flank, and his follow-up would be Mega Bay and the Tengu production as well. So very harass-heavy strategy from Empire player indeed. The seaport, the sole purpose of the seaport was to ensure that this order X would be occupied. And now, at this point of the game, the money inflow of the Allies player is exceeding his opponents, since he does have both of the order X, but an instant dojo has deployed at the order X at the right, so perhaps the Empire player can take back one of the order X very soon. But we see the production of the Allies player is very preemptive. He already has a Apollo up, which ensures him the early air dominance for himself, and we see a large number of Imperial Warriors trying to take on the ACV. The ACV doesn't stand a chance if he doesn't move away and fall back to the infantry support, and we see a Apollo fighters trying to take control of the area right at the right flank of the Empire player's main base. And indeed the Empire player has moved his MCV to the center of the map, perhaps thinking about taking a bit of map control. And inexplicably the Empire player is losing the battle here, and well, I can't really blame him, since the shields of the peacekeepers is massively OP. It will completely negate the secondary ability from the Empire player, which is normally very effective against infantry, but not when the shields of the peacekeepers are up. And we see the Allies player also has moved his MCV to the left flank of his main base. Now his MCV's construction range is just in range of that waterside expansion, so the multitasking of his is very phenomenal. When he's maneuvering his air force to ensure himself the air dominance on the entirety of the map, he is going to expand into the water with a 3rd refinery now with a nice economically. The 3rd refinery of the Empire player has not even started to be constructed yet, so the economical advantage is firmly in the hand of the Allies player, and we will see what his follow-up would be. Would it be a second air base? just thinking about taking out his Tengu force entirely and bombards the structures and ground forces of the Allies players all day, or is he going to follow it up with a armor facility and indeed take this game into a standard fashion and move to ground wars, which would be quite a spectacular sight to watch, I would say. And indeed one of the structures is in construction and it's going to be a power plant, not so on standard, since you do need power to support your structures. It's a root of the Red Alert games in general, whether it's Red Alert 1 or Red Alert 3, and we see a battle at the left flank of the left side of the map here. It's not even close now, is it? Just 3 Imperial warriors taking on a large, and I do mean a large, number of Peacekeeper force. And indeed, the ACV will be spotted by the Tengus. It's now going to be locked down by 3 Tengus, and very wisely landing only 3, so ensure that no Vindicators can just move in for a quick bombing round and destroy most of the Tengus. That way the favor will be heavily in the Allies player's hand, and indeed he has produced a second airbase, so very heavy air pressure from the Allies player here. But has he constructed the airbase too close to this refinery here, this ore mine here, so that he cannot take it? I don't think that's the kind of mistake that the players at the Maniek's level would make, but we shall see how it goes. And we see a third refinery choice. The position of the third refinery would be at the center of the map, so it seems for our Empire player Kiwi, and the infantry force for the Allies player just defending the center of the map here, just preventing any form of infantry run by and quick destruction of the second airbase, and just to be safe, a multi-gunner turret as well. So very wise for the Allies player. Now the game starts to stabilize. Just 2 infantry is trying to shoot down these all directs here. Eventually they'll be able to do it, but I don't know whether they can do it before the Peacekeeper force actually run in and kill them all. But hey. And very smartly, the Empire player will be moving in his Tengus for interception, and Tengus do have the anti-infantry guns, so all these infantry will be locked down instantly if the Air Force doesn't come into support. But I would think that would not be the case, since my frame rate is dropping massively. I would have to... Okay, now it's dropping to 1 frame per second. This game is basically unplayable, but just... Perhaps I will have to recast this game. Hang on guys, just let me pause it very... Okay, I am now back. I don't know what it was, but there was a massive frame rate drop. It dropped to 1 frame per second. That's ridiculous, but now we are back, and indeed all the Tengus have landed, perhaps thinking about taking a massive number of infantry before they get taken out themselves by the infantry bombing. And they're actually quite biffy. You cannot destroy 1 Tengu with just 2 bombs from a 0 ranked or indeed private rank Vindicator. So quite the smart play from our Empire player, preserving most of his Tengu forces, and now going to move back to the airbase, not the airbase, the Mega Bay, to be repaired. And a instant dojo has deployed at the center of the map here, so the Empire player is very smartly using the infantry production here. Now that he's taken out most of the infantry forces from the Allies player, he's predicting his opponents not to be continuing the infantry production. But does he have enough Tengus to deal with this air force from the Allies player here? I don't think so, but he is in range of the missile, not missile, there's a missile turret, and indeed there's a Defender VX on in secondary firing mode. So the Allies player will be repelled very decisively from the Allies player, and indeed, oh no, very smart use of secret protocol here, taking out one of the miners at the center refinery for the Allies player against his opponents. And we see the Empire player is massing up his Tengu forces here, trying to take back the air dominance, and indeed that's the correct thing to do in this situation. But now that his opponent does have 4 refinery ups, I don't know whether they can do it. And now has a very good game sense. It's our Allies player. He has constructed a boot camp and is now boosting his infantry production here. And the infantry production for the Empire is not continuing, so the advantage that he had when he destroyed most of the Peacekeeper force from the Allies player here is quickly slipping away, and now with a phenomenal micro, the Allies player will be able to preserve his Vindicators here, and the Apollo fighters from the Allies player will be massively superior over his opponent's Tengu forces there, and the Empire player was forced to retreat, and now the center area, the air dominance of the center area now, it's now firmly in the hand of the control of it. It's now firmly in the hand of the Allies player, and indeed he's going to be utilizing it very well. He's going to be bombarded the forces of the Empire player, and let's see if the Empire player can muster up a large enough force or indeed any measure to deal with the next bombing round from the Allies player right here. And indeed the Allies player is not just sticking to Vindicator bombing rounds, it's now going to transition into cryocopters, which is a very smart thing and very honestly standard thing to do in a Allies versus Empire game, actually Allies versus any faction game. And my frame rate has just dropped again. I don't know why, but let's pause this game again just very quickly and let's see if Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I am now back in the fight. I don't know what's with the frame rate drops. It's been happening quite frequently. It's been twice in this cast, and I've been forced to recast this game. This is the second time I cast this game, by the way. The last time I was forced to stop at the very beginning, just because, well, the frame rate was at 1, so it doesn't really help now, does it? Never mind, let's get back into the game. We see one cryocopter now currently on the field for the Allies player. The second one is joining his buddy. I can only assume that what is being produced in the two bases for the Allies player would be cryocopters. Now that is the most sensible thing to do. If the Allies player can take out this entire Tengu force here and just use his air force to secure the air dominance, then the infantry can just go to work and destroy all the structures at the center of the map here, and the favor will be heavily swung to the Allies player's side. And if he's smart, he'll be following up with a armor facility when the entirety of the ground force of the Empire player is taken out. Winning with just one dimensional force is not generally a good idea, as it seems, and indeed the Apollo for the Allies player was out of position to deal with that, but with the micro he will be able to pull away the cryocopters before they get destroyed, and slowly but surely the ore connector is getting frozen by the cryo beams from the cryocopter, and the infantry force from the Allies player is very threateningly, does it sound like a word? I assume it is. And at the right flank of the current MCV position of the Empire player right there, perhaps that is very threatening, and we see the infantry production of the Empire player is not continuing here. He's focusing on messing up his Tengus, which is generally a good idea if he can manage to keep them, and he will eventually be able to mess up enough Tengu to take on the Allies player in a straight air battle here. But with the infantry support with the javelin launchers, oh my god, I didn't even see that being produced. What a smart move from the Allies player, just predicting his opponent to be messing up Tengus and thinking that, well, with just 2 air bases and no any new air bases coming up, since you can't really support that many with just 4 refineries, he will eventually be overrun by the Tengu forces from the Empire player, so he has to seek out infantry support, and indeed with a large number, and I do mean a large number, of javelin soldiers from the Allies player, the Empire player is forced to hold his position here and is now in a very passive position here. He is allowing his opponent to be positioning his troopers wherever he likes, which is generally very unfavorable, and indeed the Empire player was not paying attention here, or perhaps he was thinking that his opponent was baiting him with just one Apollo 5 fighters, and indeed he will be correct in that regard, since the infantry force is very, very close to support